Hey everyone, it is Evan here from the Trade Risk on Wednesday, January 8th. We are intraday right now, and this is our weekly trade ideas video where we bring you some of the names from our watch list stocks that are holding up well, showing some relative strength, and ideally are not yet too extended in their moves. As always, these videos are powered by our partners over at Investors Business Daily. We curate ideas from their stock lists. You can get access to their stock lists with a link in the description of this video. So we're looking at six names on the schedule here today. We got 2 from IBD's list, 4 from our watch list, including a current trade that we have on. So let's jump into it. The first one here is MOMO. This is one we talked about, I think it was a couple of months ago at this point, where it was starting to pull back, the initial sort of pullback here in this range. We started to mention it, and it continued to pull back throughout the end of the year, and it's just now starting to get its act together. When we zoom out and look at this candidate here, it has really gone nowhere for about 3 years, and that can be a scary proposition for kind of a shorter term trader, especially if you're looking for some sustained momentum. There really hasn't been any here in this particular stock. So we do need to be aware of that. But when we look a little bit closer here at what's going on, you can see, of course, the very tight, this is a weekly chart we're looking at now, nice orderly tight 10-week, 12-week pullback here. We saw the outside reversal week last week, and now we're attempting to put in some follow through, and the daily chart shows a little more meaningful kind of range and expansion here on the upside, which was from the first day of the year, and then today's trading session where we're up 5% and looking to kind of start making higher highs and higher lows here on the daily chart. So there's still work to do, but the pattern is there. It's nice and tight, and we'll look to see if this can get some follow through, really start getting a move over 37.50 or so. Would probably give you some more confidence that the momentum is there to stick. Look for that MACD to move into positive territory, but it's an interesting candidate, well-defined risk. However you look at it. So that's our first one there. That comes from IBD's watch list. And number 2 from IBD's list is STNE. This one here, when we zoom out, is a younger IPO issue, which came public at the end of 2018. You can see it does have pretty orderly uptrend. It did have a pretty abrupt pullback here, to say the least, in 2019. 50% got cut in half from its highs, but it's nearly back to those highs. And once again, it's acting pretty well here. Technically, it's kind of basing, breaking out, it's grinding higher. It hasn't entered a super smooth, sustained uptrend, but you can see that technically it is kind of, working itself up and to the right here. We had a full-on kind of consolidation in December as it was pulling back off of the highs here, made around $41.60. It broke out sharply at the last day of the year, and then New Year's here broke out to this new recent highs, and now it's kind of pulling back here. It sort of filled the gap today, and now you can look at this as maybe being a short-term kind of day one reversal that's going to make us, make a stance to the upside and potentially put in a higher low. So STNE, MACD in good territory there, starting to work itself back up to its prior all-time highs. Decent one there to take a look at, not too extended in its move. So 4 other names here now coming from our watch list. First here is just XLI. Talked about this one. And this is just this spider industrial ETF, sector ETF. And this is one we had talked about a couple of times now in the past few market recap videos. And I do think it's still worth noting here that just from a sector basis, if we're looking at things that aren't super frothy and extended like many of these prior leaders are right now, we can look at XLI as potentially a rotational candidate. As you can see, it really hasn't gone anywhere since the start of November. It's been moving sideways underneath this $82.50 range. And if we look closely here, you can see just a bunch of indecision and overlap, kind of inside bars and just tight trading here over the past 4 sessions. Volume has been high, and it's still a bit messy right now, but it's attempting to break out here and start to move to new all-time highs. Again, if we zoom out here, the beauty of this smaller range is that it's taking place at the, in fact, above a 2-year range that started at the beginning of 2018. So again, a lot of the other spider sectors have been moving and working higher and breaking out to new all-time highs. XLI has been a little reluctant, so let's just keep an eye on this one here for some potential fresh momentum. And then, of course, you could go down to the individual components under the XLI for some more for some more beta and potentially some more opportunity. So that's XLI. That's the first idea. Number two is a position that we have on. I'm not sure if we mentioned the entry in this or we talked about SHAK in the past, but whether or not we have or not, we do have a position here. We've had a position for a few weeks now, and it looks like SHAK here is starting to come alive. This here, you can see if we zoom out just a little bit, got hit with a pretty good gap down at the start of November. It's been consolidating in this range. In fact, if you were to go down to like an intraday chart, you might even be able to look at some type of inverted pattern here or something to that effect. But it's been trying to round out and find some buyers here. You can see that volume is starting to pick up now as it starts to move up the right side of this consolidation. It still needs to move over 63 or so in my book here to get some good momentum and to get more of a retracement and a move back towards this gap. But for now, it is moving sideways here. Certainly a different look. It's been sort of left for dead after a pretty substantial pullback off of those all-time highs, almost cut in half from where it was trading in September. So looks like perhaps a lot of that capitulation has, fingers crossed, completed. And we'll see if this can start to resume here. Two nice candles in the short term. We do have a position in this in the 61s. So we are up a bit in this trade, and we've been in it now for a few weeks. So SHAK, current holding, we'll see if this can continue to work higher here and break over that $63 level. Now, the next two do have a little bit of a chase factor here. They have been moving, so they are kind of in motion breakout momentum plays, but I wanted to showcase them anyway because FIVN is the first one here. And when you look at a weekly time frame, it actually doesn't look too extended whatsoever. In fact, it's been moving sideways for 6 weeks around this $68 area. We're getting a nice weekly kind of breakout expansion move here to new closing highs. We'll see if we can finish the week up there. And you can see longer term, of course, the trend is up and to the right. On the daily chart, you've had a few days now of buying here. So again, in the very short term, it is a bit extended. But when we look at the bigger time frame, seems still pretty reasonable here. Good trend in place. So FIVN, I think that's an interesting one. And number two, kind of similar here, is COUP. So again, if we go to a weekly chart, you can see we're actually getting kind of the follow-through weekly bar right now that's in progress. So last week was a new closing all-time weekly high for Coupa software, and you can see that this has recently just started, or is emerging from about a 6-month, 5.5-month trading range here as it moved sideways starting in July around this $150 area. It's breaking out now. Long-term trend is very much intact and going up and to the right. It's moving out of this this recent range, and it does look good on higher time frames. In the short term, it certainly has had a nice 5-6 day move here. So keep an eye on it. Not saying any of these are an immediate buy, but hopefully something here are good candidates that you might want to add to a watch list, potentially monitor for a few days, and when you find the entry that fits what you're looking for, you can strike on it. So that's it. That's what we got for the trade ideas this week. We got 6 names that we just mentioned, bunch of different looks there. So again, do your homework on them. Earnings season quickly approaching, so again, check those dates as well. So that's it for me. Thanks so much. As always, every Wednesday, trade ideas like this. You can subscribe on our YouTube channel or follow us at The Trade Risk. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you back here for the weekend market recap video.